So how do we get to approach these people? Now, before we get to, again, exchange ideas on this, our perspectives and thoughts, change agents, and I think Sarah mentioned it earlier, no? Paano pwede bang mangyari na marami kang change agents? The reality is it's close to this number that you are looking at from the screen. Change agents or your supporters are just about 20%. Maliit lang sila na population. Okay? Sila yung palaging game when there's a change coming. You can, I don't want to say naman that these are the only people who are mature, but I want to say that these people are mature enough that they are looking at change very positively, that very openly. Okay? Fence sitters, di ba? This is the majority of your population. Ito yung undecided population. There are 50%. So kalahati sila ng mga tao natin, no, na hindi nila alam kung maganda ba sa kanila yung change or hindi. All right. And the resistors, there are about 30%. So I'm not saying these are exact numbers. So again, this is just an estimated thing that we came up with from our research then. So resistors would be about 30%. Sila yung ayaw talaga nila, no? So maybe they're comfortable, they have their own reasons. Bottom line is that communication is very important here, and to understand each person's view on it is very important. Some of you also answered na it's important to hear suggestions and the reasoning behind why they decided on stuff here. Because, again, from whenever the organization decides on something, they have to take into consideration kung sino yung magiging impacted. And, again, all the more that resistors reasons is important. Kasi sometimes, sila rin yung nakakakita nun kagad. Diba? So you ask them, oh, what are your hesitations? And then take that into consideration before the final decision is made. Diba? Remember, again, the people side of things is very important. So the people, we have to listen to them first. Okay? Kaya right now, I don't know if you noticed as well, no? Mas tinatanong ko yung, actually, I want to hear more from the people na medyo nahihiyang magsalita. Kasi it's, for me, at least personally, I feel that it's more important that we hear those people na hindi ko naririnig magsalita. Kasi sometimes, they are the ones that keep observing. Di ba? Observe lang sila na observe, hindi sila paraging mag-share. I'm also training them to express themselves better. And also, through experience, yung mga nagsasabi na, nasabi na copy-paste, di ba? Okay na yun sinabi na ganito, ni ganyan. Ayoko nung ganon kasi I want for them to say it in their own words. Sometimes, and actually not sometimes, most of the time, kapag ginaganon ko sila, yung mga tao na magsasabi na, copy-paste na lang, okay na yun. If I ask them, say it in your own words, mas marami pa silang nasasabi. In fact, mas marami silang details, mas marami silang nasi-share, mas important sa akin yun. And I hope you understand why those are my sentiments as well. So if in your team, meron kang palaging nasabi na ni ganyan, nasabi na ni Sir Win, ano yung sinabi niya? Ganon. In their own words, dapat marinig natin. Important yung ganyan. And also that's training them to be able to communicate better to us next time. Ayan. Anyways, going back here, okay? So knowing that these are our numbers from the types of people in the change, no? So you have 20% change agents, you have 50% fence sitters, and 30% resistors. Sino sa tingin nyo, like personally, okay, for you, who would you engage first? Would you engage the resistors first? Would you engage the fence sitters first? Would you engage the change agents first? Yan. Anyone, please. Yes, Ma'am Joy.
I guess I would like to engage first the resistors, sir. Oo, kasi ang fence sitter kasi madali na lang eh. They just have to make them understand na ito yung ano, and then maka-decide na sila. But with the resistor, parang ito yung sila yung mga mahirap because yung stereotyping kasi sila siguro ito mag-isip. Yung naka-center na focus na ito yung mga tao na they do not think out of the box.
Biased na sila in their own decision.
Secluded yung kanilang pag-iisip. So ito sa kanila, I think, maybe yung sinasabi nila like diplomatic way, that's why communication is very important, I think. Dapat naririnig. And then when there's a communication, hindi lang dapat na we just hear them, but we have to listen to them. Kasi iba naman yung when you just hear them and when you listen to them. So when you listen to them, you comprehend the message kasi when you listen. Kasi pag you hear, pasok dito, labas doon. So and then pagka narinig mo na yung mga concern nila sa buhay, kung bakit ayaw nila, and maybe that's the time na sabihin mo sa kanila ang detail naman kung why is it the necessary to change, and then make them understand na ito yung mangyayari. Ayaw mo ba? Para siguro ibabalik na sa atin, ayaw mo ba na ito ang mangyayari, na ito ang magaganda? And maybe siguro, kailangan natin siguro umpisahan ngayon na itong change na pwede nating gagawin, hindi para sa sarili natin. I think we have to start to think for everyone to benefit out of it. Ganon siguro yan, para ma-realize nila na may pagka-humanity doon. Kasi pagka sinabi mo, ito dapat, kasi ito mangyayari sa'yo, ito yung ganon. So magiging self-centered siya, so wala rin. So parang, ay, wala naman ako. Kasi ang isip ko ngayon, dahil siguro yung sa mental health natin ngayon, lahat tayo struggling eh. So lahat parang gusto ng ganito, ganyan. So I think, sir, ganon siguro. Akin, engage ko muna yung mga resistor. Thank
Resistors
you.
muna. All right. Thank you, Ma'am Joy. Sige,
Okay,
anybody else,
welcome.
please? What are your thoughts on this? We want to hear your thoughts, your perspective in engaging. Sino yung i-engage niyo muna dun sa tatlo? Let's hear from Ma'am Hershey naman. So she said in chat, how can we avoid future mistakes in taking or considering change in business? So, Ma'am Hershey, is there anything specific that you have experienced towards this?
Sir, kasi parang ano kasi sir, I'm doubting if saan ba ma-apply yung change management in business? Is it mas mauna yung forecasting, or di ba po in forecasting parang future prediction?
Mm-hmm.
So parang kailangan ba ng change talaga to have a positive result in business? Baka po pag may mangyayaring change sa business, magiging negative din tuloy yung output niya. So, how can we avoid future mistakes by considering change management in
Ayan,
business?
great question. Thank you very much for that. So, actually, to answer it lang right away, no, it's never easy. It is a process. And with that in mind, no, the business in mind, there's a lot of considerations to be made. Diba? So it's not a simple whether ano ba yung kailangan nating unahin, but a lot of things to consider, and then we learn how to prioritize. So I'll give from when you were asking the question, immediately I thought of Nokia. All right, from before, diba? They're number one. Actually, they are outselling. Wala silang competitor. Now, technically, nawala yung competitors nila because they were so good in what they did. Diba? So, sobrang kumita sila with it. Tapos, and I think you know the story naman, no? Because you're agreeing with me. So, let me ask you, ano nangyari sa kanila?
Nag-stick sila into Symbian something. Hindi sila nag-go into Android.
Oo. So, they didn't consider that. Aside from that, ano pa yung nangyari?
Na-flop po yung business nila, sir.
Bakit sila nag-flop?
Parang nawala sila sa industry.
Yes,
in
that's correct.
Telemarket.
Oo. Pero bakit? That's a good conversation. Sige, let's talk about this a little bit.
They did not consider changing Symbian into Android. Parang ganun.
Okay. Oo. And Android can also be closely related to touchscreen. Tama?
Yes po.
Okay. So yun nga, no? Because they didn't want to change because they believed that their OS was so good, they didn't even consider the possibility of going touchscreen. Although, of course, meron ng parang bits and pieces, pero Symbian pa rin naman yung OS nila, yung operating system. They didn't get to adapt that fast. Right? So they didn't consider looking at the future. What they were doing is, you know what? Okay na tayo dito eh. We are doing so well, why should we change? Yan. So I think we can take that very good, very big, important lesson from what Nokia did. In fact, their CEOs, one of their CEOs, I can't remember who exactly, he said, we were doing so well, but we failed on innovation, in improvement. So basically, change for them was seen as something that would not impact them simply because they were successful already. Now, this goes for everybody, regardless of which aspect in your life you can take it in. If you consider yourself as the best, okay? Kasi ganun sila di ba? They were the best. Tama naman. I mean, I think everybody can agree. They were the best at cell phone making and handset making. But because of that, simply wala na silang kako-compare. They didn't have to change. If we think that way, okay, at any point in our lives, we're the best at managing, okay? We're not going to learn anymore. Kunyari, kami, like this. Oh, alam ko na yung change management eh. Bakit pa ako attend kay advanced learning programs about it? Alam ko na yun eh. How can they move? Di ba, kunyari, I will give you a different perspective. I have updates for you. If we don't take that, maiiwan lang tayo. So exactly from what Nokia's tragedy teaches us, di ba? It's their inability to change and adapt to what the future holds that left them in the dust. Asan na si Nokia ngayon? Right? They're nowhere to be found. They have been overtaken by these new competitors. Samsung, you have your Apple. Literally everybody else, di ba, is better than Nokia in that aspect. Now, I'm not saying naman that would have been an easy change, but at the very least, dapat meron din tayong part of us, at least for ourselves, no, to think na, okay na ba tayo where we are at? Okay? And also, again, what change management teaches us is we shouldn't be stagnant. We should always be looking at improving ourselves. So we should always stay hungry. We should always stay in that note of telling ourselves na, how else can I be better? How else can I improve? All the time yon pati. Yan. Also, I think meron pa kasing questions here about, which one exactly is it nga that needs to happen. The short answer, at least from what I can think of, no, what would make the biggest impact when dealing with change? Okay, so again, this applies not just in business but for everything. And let me talk about going back to the types of people, no, in change. Do you agree? Would you engage your change agents first, or would you engage your resistors first? Anybody else?
Okay, we were discussing po kung sino po yung first na i-engage. Sa first kanina, we are going to engage the change agents so they can be our influencers to hopefully campaign to the resistors. To the second scenario, we are going to engage the fence sitters. Since meron na tayong mga change agents, hopefully, dun po natin magka-campaign sa mga fence sitters so we can convince them once we have already set the tone na meron na tayong may papakita na successful stories sa kanila. Hopefully, they can also be part of the team who can influence the resistors. Yun po yung discussions among the threes here.
All right. Thank you very much, guys. Yeah, anything else you want to add? I think yun lang muna, no? Sige. Okay. So this is naman again a part of discussion that I wanted to get your ideas on, no. Pero the approach that we are taking on this, and something that we have been consulting with, no, is you engage your change agents first. Exactly for what Ma'am Aaron mentioned earlier. So why is it that you are going to engage them first? Remember, earlier, the way to engage your change agents would be to put them in key positions wherein they'll be able to influence more people. So ibig sabihin, you give them leadership. Sige, since alam mo naman na yung direction natin, you are supporting, you are in for the change. So what I will do is I will assign you that, no, into being a leader nga, so basically a position wherein you get to influence more people.